what makes you a successful person, and how and why do you see yourself a successful person?
You don't wake up and identify as successful. You can wake up and identify as anything else. I could wake up and say, you know what, I'm a guinea pig today. Yeah. But the truth is, success is the results. Does that make sense? Now we've got to ask ourselves, what are we using as the measurement for success? Is it how much money you've made? Is it the impact you've had on other people? Is it how much money you have in your bank? Is it your asset column? It really comes down to, is there evidence of something that you've set out to achieve and you have achieved it? A lot of people mix this stuff up. Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. And they change their Instagram bio and their LinkedIn bio to entrepreneur. That doesn't make you an entrepreneur.
What does entrepreneur mean? It's like we understand it.
Yeah.
But then someone who is just starting.
You're not an entrepreneur. You're an aspiring entrepreneur. There's a big difference. Entrepreneurs have results. You've started a business. You've got results. You are on your path. But just this whole glorified idea of being an entrepreneur is played out. Because everything comes down to results. That's what success is, results.
What type of problems do you think arise within your business?
So a problem, for example, great one, direct from experience, right? So someone can come in and have a party in the service accommodation, right?
Okay.
Right. So they're not meant to have parties.
Have what?
A party. So, So it's meant to be two. It's meant to be two people that come in, but then they bring in a whole bunch of people. Say it's like 20 of them, right?
Before you know it, it's chaos.
Yeah, literally, and then they cause a problem with the whole block, right? Then it brings other problems. So it's like, okay, that's a problem that's popped up, right? So, that's why it's important to have security, someone there that can actually go and kick them out, and then that's why it's then important to be like, okay, well, how do we stop this from ever happening again?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So what do? You make sure that they get the correct security checks. We take their ID. Also, there's a camera there, so we make sure that we see like who's actually going in. We make sure that we vet them. Make sure like why are you actually coming to the property, and then a great easy thing, take off the one night stays. Right, just take off the one night stays because like most time, if someone's looking for a one night on a weekend,
you know where that's going.
They're doing it to party.
Yes.
But there can be people that don't do it to party. That's why it's very important to vet them. But again, like if you just want to remove the headache fully, just take off the one night stays. If you really want to open yourself up to that market and make sure that you're fully on it, then keep it open, but just vet very maliciously, sort of, and then make sure you got very good eyes on what's happening. So yeah, that's the problem. That's the solution. Then boom.
I think it's important. And what you have just mentioned is, I'm sure a lot of people have had the similar situation, and you learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
That is very
Tell
true.
me how I know.
Honestly.
Honestly, I've had situations like that, but I'm happy that, we can tackle them. And I like what you said, like having those cameras in place and vetting them, making sure you have IDs. I've had a situation where a guest refused to give me their IDs, and I'm like, that's a red flag already.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking, well, it's a no-go, then you're not staying.
Yeah. I'm not giving you the code. You're not going in. Like, you're not sending me the code. And funny enough, like, just because I said that, they're like, oh, yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
But then
this is it.
makes you think and just gives you questions in your head.
Why did they stop? But,
yeah, definitely.
But I mean, sometimes when that happens, it's like it's also like still digging in and just like, because like there needs to be some form of, okay, I've done all my due diligence, completed the steps, and now I can say that I've done my part. So if something goes wrong, I can say I've done my part. But if it goes wrong, then bam, I know to do this next time. If someone says, oh, I am not giving my ID, I'm not dealing with you, mate.
Yeah, simple.
But,
Exactly.
You received an email, you agree to it, you know it's already in there, extra documents are required, it's there before you booked. So you could have reached out and asked the question, what extra documents do you need from me?
Yeah,
exactly.
literally.
That's all they needed. And if there was a conflict of interest there, then there's obviously a deeper reason that we don't quite know. But we always like to get down to the bottom of everything. Yeah. Because it's like trying to unfold everything so we can fully evaluate and grasp the situation so that we can do our best to ensure that it's dealt with in the right way. Yeah. And that's the best way I would say we kind of do the problem solving, by really digging so deep into it that there's nothing left you can kind of dig out of it, sort of thing. But
it's like when talking about it as well, it's I like it because obviously you got a lot of good people in the world, right? So you would like to think, oh, everybody's going to be a good person. They're going to come and they're going to enjoy the place and they're going to be fine, right? But
because that's who you are. You see people the way you are.
Yeah.
Because you're a good person, you think that everyone who's coming is just like you.
But not everybody's good, you know. So it's like, okay, how do we stop it? But yeah, it's, you know, it's important to just continue going forward.
Do you know what I've done as well? I've also, I don't know if you have used this before, but also maybe our audience can learn from this. I've also built a relationship with the neighbors.
Yeah.
That's what I had actually with my old essays, and one of them used to take the bins out for me when I was like at work at my other job. I used to come back and, is she taking the bin out? I said, that's lovely of her.
Yeah, because imagine the guest who's coming, you're probably never going to see them again, right? But the neighbors are always going to be there.
Exactly.
They're always going to stay.
They're a good lookout.
So building that relationship, making sure that they actually know what you're doing is not going to have questions into their head because you're clear from the beginning.
Yes.
Number two, they will keep an eye on your property. If there is something wrong, they will inform you.
Definitely.
And number three, they are not going to be upset with you, and that relationship is not going to be broken. Because it's very, very important to build that relationship.
Definitely. I would agree with that. I think building relationship is so important. I think because that's what we did with the Cheltenham one, didn't we? We built the relationship up with them, and they're very, very supportive. Always kind of, if there's something that they've got an issue with, then they'll be like, I think you guys should know about this. And we do appreciate it because we're very busy. There's a lot going on, and we always want to make sure we can keep our eyes on the ball of everything, which we do our best at. Obviously, there's everything we can't be in everywhere at once. So it's really, really thankful that we've got them to kind of do that.
Well, thank you so much, because I'm literally enjoying this conversation. I'm loving it. It's one of my favorite topics, honestly. We haven't had a lot of property people in, so we're bringing a little bit of everything, as this is why it's called Diaries of Success.
Yeah, it's not property.
It's not just property. So it's literally about a lot of things. So I'm loving this. And Rent to Rent is what I started with. Yes. It's what I've actually done, and so I always love a conversation about that. When you were in a 9-to-5 job, at what point you said, I'm ready to leave my job, or what happened, or how did it happen for you to be going or transition from being in a job all the way to becoming your own boss?
Right. So I think this was probably the last job that I ever had. And I was working as an administrator for the radiology department at Colchester Hospital.
Right. Okay.
And no matter how hard I worked, I was always distracted, because every single time, every single minute that I had an opportunity when no one was looking, I was on the charts. I was on my phone and I was looking at the Forex market. I was placing trades.
Right.
I was insanely obsessed with becoming a trader.
Wow.
So no matter how much I focused on the job itself, I wasn't really focused. I didn't really want to be there. And no matter how hard I tried, I kept making mistakes. And I remember that the day when I got fired, I remember thinking to myself, right, I need to figure out what to do. Because when I was sitting in that office and they told me, right, we've tried and you've made too many mistakes, we can't keep you on. And I remember this sense of excitement. And I actually had tears in my eyes that day, realizing that I am a trader, that no matter how hard I try, no matter how hard I try to fit in, all I want to do is be a trader. So I had two choices: either update my CV and go find another job just to, pay the bills, or go 100% into trading. And that's what I decided to do. So I had this holiday booked already. It was a friend's wedding in Cyprus. And this was like a week or two before. So I got fired a week or two before the holiday.
Oh
yeah.
Snaps.
Yeah, so it was almost like, oh man, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I'm still going to go. I've already paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go have a great time. I'm going to my friend's wedding. And I realized that no matter what happens, I need to find a way. But it's not going to be the traditional route. So when I was out there, I noticed on Instagram that this really successful millionaire trader was also on the island.
No way.
But he was on the Turkish side.
Okay.
I was on the Cypriot side.
Cool.
And I said to my wife, I said, listen, I need to meet this guy. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I need to get to the other side of the island and meet him. So I reached out to him on Instagram and I said, hey, what's up? I'm actually on the island. Let's meet up. And he goes, yeah, sure. This is my hotel. Come tomorrow.
Wow.
And I was like, awesome. I thought, right.
That was very humble of him.
Yeah, you know, it was really humble of him. And I thought to myself, I said to my wife, look, tomorrow I'm going to take our rental and I'm going to drive to the other side of the island. And she said, all right, that's cool. But don't forget your passport, just in case. And I was like, all right.
Bless her.
And literally I was up at about 4 a.m. because I had no idea what that journey was going to be like. And I just set off. And it was one of those unbelievable experiences that you have on your own in solitude, and you realize that I'm actually now following my dream. I'm venturing out on land in a place where I have no idea what's coming. I have no idea where I am, but I'm going. I know where my destination is. And so it was very mountainous. It was quite dry. Wow. It was just myself, and I was thinking, right, what am I going to say to this guy? Am I going to, you know, and I was just, it doesn't matter. I just kept on going. And I remember reaching the border of the Cypriot island, and I hadn't realized how militarized it was.
Wow.
Like there were soldiers, there was a tower with a soldier manning a machine gun. I was like, okay, this is a really serious border. I need to really smarten up here. What am I going to say? I'm just meeting this Instagram guy.
Yeah.
So when I got to the border, luckily I had my passport that my wife reminded me to get. I was really nervous because I get really nervous around guns. And I was in this car rental. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. I managed to make it through. And I got to the other side, and it's just a completely different world. And when I started pulling up to the hotel, I realized how amazing this hotel was. It's like a 7-star hotel. Wow. It was very, very luxurious. And I remember going up to the reception area, and I realized, wow, if I wasn't to take this decision to be here, I wouldn't be enjoying this experience. I wouldn't be in this amazing, luxurious location on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And, I met the guy, and it was a great conversation. And, he invited me to his office in London.
Wow. Said
that there was these opportunities to trade and et cetera, et cetera. So I left that meeting so pumped, so excited. And I realized that for me, no matter what happens next, I need to use this energy, this momentum to continue networking, because to succeed in anything, even though trading is something that you do on your own,
right?
And you're trading the market, etc., you still need to surround yourself by other people who have achieved what you want to achieve, because it's the energy, because it's that accountability. So I have my mentors,
right,
that I talk to. I have my coaches that I've always gone back to.
Right.
And I realized that my road to success was because I took those decisions, that uncomfortable decision to go somewhere where you don't know where the unknown is, but it's something that you wanted to achieve. It's something that I really wanted.
Right.
And you got to make that choice in life. Whether it's, for me, it was update my CV, remain average, or go do some scary shit. Yeah. Travel lands that meet people, network, develop the skills that you need in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And, it was that momentum that then eventually led to more opportunities.
Yeah.
And I ended up having an opportunity for a hedge fund as a fundamental analyst.
Wow.
because the energy that I put out when I was meeting people, when I was networking, people are influenced by the energy that you bring to the room.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I realized that I was so hungry, I was so determined to not go back and having to update my CV. I was so determined that everybody that I met, I was just so positive.
Right. Yes.
So excited, so passionate about trading that they're like, wow, you know, this guy's great. It would be perfect to be part of the team.
Yeah.
And then that's when things started changing. I entered into the professional world as a trader, and I didn't do, you know, usually to reach that, you need to have economics degree, you need to go to the best universities, you need to sort of know who's who in the world. But I did it just straight out of passion,
Right.
straight out of determination. So you don't actually need a degree. You don't need to go through the traditional route, as long as you got that passion and that energy, and that's really what I learned from that experience.
So that experience where you actually went and spoke to the guy, you literally out of nowhere, he probably had no idea who you were.
Mm-hmm.
It's what tells me if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think it plays a big role in being a successful businessman?
Yeah.
Or business person in
100%.
general?
100%. What in terms of? So what was it in terms of?
Being a good person and...
Yeah, definitely. I feel like for me, it's really changed who I am as a person. It's helped me. I have to like understand myself. I have to manage my emotions. You know, I'm leading the team, so sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I've just got to suck it up and just think to myself, you know what, I can't be. Energy is contagious. It's so contagious, and what I always remember in my head is that your team is only as good as your leader.
That's true. Yeah.
That's in any organization. So the school that I went to, it was such a good school growing up. When I left, it all went down. But actually, what happened was
Only because you left.
only because I left. What happened was the head teacher retired. It was one of the best schools in the city. The head teacher retired. Had the same staff, same pupils, but it just went downhill because the leader went. And it's the same with any, like, it could be like a religious, like a church as well. As soon as that leader leaves, same people goes downhill, and it's definitely the same in the business as well. So I'm very in tune with myself and very in tune with my emotions, and I'm very intentional when I do things as well, because you've got to be, you know, when you're leading a team, you're responsible, and also what business has helped me become is more accountable and responsible for my own actions. That is the key, because it's very easy to point. And I always say, like, if you're pointing, if I point one finger to you, I've got three fingers pointing back to me.
Yeah.
So. And a lot of time we always look to put the blame on other people. Oh, it was so-and-so's fault. This is why that happened. That's why that happened. We don't look at what we could do. And that's why a lot of people, they struggle to grow because they're too busy trying to control other people. But the issue is I can't control what you do.
Yeah.
I can control my own thoughts, my own actions.
Yeah.
So that's what I focus on. That's what I have in my power. So that's what I try and develop on a daily basis.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you very much for being here. Before
Pleasure.
we leave, I just want you to share one last thing with our audience.
I'd say just be your authentic self. I think that's so important. I feel like, you know, on social media, especially, and in the world we live in, you watch people and you think, you can just tell, like, you're trying to be like X, or you're seeing like maybe like a influencer or celebrity, and you can just tell, like, they're trying to be too much like them. And I always say as well, like, it's mad where there's not one DNA. There's billions of people on this planet. No one has the same DNA. So we all have a different purpose. We all have different values, and there's only one Sean Davis. No one can be me better than me. Like, so if I go and try and be and replicate someone else, what God has for me in sort of my purpose and the plans for me, I'm going to end up missing out on that opportunity because I'm too busy trying to be someone else.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was just to hone in on my own purpose and my own authenticity and project that out, I'm going to be unique, and no one's realistically is going to be able to compete with that, because what you're getting is what you're getting, essentially. So I would say that. I say be authentic. Remember, people buy from you because of you. as well. So when you're authentic, it shows, and that's been massively how I've been able to close deals and build a relatively good business. Because of my authenticity, people buy from me because of who I am as well, and they want to do business with me as well. So I'd say that's the biggest piece of advice I'd have.
Money is important.
Yeah.
Money pays for the studio. Money pays for your train to get here.
Yeah.
Money keeps the lights on at home.
Yeah.
But money isn't everything. Money isn't success. Some people think success is money.
Yeah.
I happen not to think that. I think there's more to what success is.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think money is perceived by the person that is holding the money. So if you've got two people and you've got a humanitarian that wins the lottery or has a huge business and he has £1 million and his life revolves around going to places and helping them and building schools and stuff like that, money's perceived as good. But if you've got someone who's got £1 million and they're living a lavish lifestyle and we call it the Lamborghini Dubai lifestyle. Some people will perceive that as inspirational, and some people will perceive that in the nicest possible way as twat. So I think money is perceived, however, whoever you're looking at who has it. I think for me, money is essential. It's a necessary that we need. You don't need a lot of money to be happy. You need enough money that can pay your overheads and can provide you with time to take out of work and have those life experiences that life is all about. Nobody wants to work their whole life and not experience anything. So for me, as long as I can have 3 to 4 holidays with my family and my kids can experience new things.
Beautiful.
I've just put my kids into private education this month as opposed to state last month. That's something that I'm really passionate about because I want to give them the best possible start in life. As long as I have enough money to do all of those things, I'm happy. But money isn't necessarily the driving force, because some of my most enjoyable businesses that I have, like the mentorship and peak performance and the podcast, for instance, are not what I call the bread and butter businesses. I spend a lot of time on that because I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Casita is the bread and butter. Casita is where I make my living. Anything that I make on the others is extra. But I get enjoyment out of making money in Casita, but there's not a huge amount of enjoyment in respect that I feel like, oh, this is amazing and this has changed my life. But with the podcast, we're helping people every day with the message we put out there. Beautiful. With the events company, we're inspiring people and educating them. With the mentorship, we're helping change people's lives to start their own businesses. It's all very rewarding. But combined, they probably don't earn me anywhere near as much as that one business does.
What's the point? You said, you know what? No, I'm not going to give up. Why did you continue doing what you're doing?
Well, because I think the thing is, throughout my journey, I've had those moments already. So I can't remember what podcast I watched, but somebody said, if you fall into a situation that can't be changed, be pissed off for 5 minutes. Because if you're pissed off for 5 days, it doesn't change the outcome.
Yep.
So be really pissed off, punch a wall, do whatever you need to do, go for a walk for 5 minutes and then move on. And I feel like it happening at Christmas and then having those 2 weeks to pull myself together, reflect.
I love that.
And then come back fresh 3rd, 4th of January. I had that time to process it and to get my mindset right, whether it was picking up a book, doing some stuff with the kids, stuff like that. So I think, that's only something recently that I've watched as well. And I shared it with Aaron and he was like, you know what? I couldn't agree more. Like, it doesn't matter how long you stew on a circumstance that you can't change. It's not going to change it. If anything, it changes. It's going to hold you back longer to then moving forward to make that money back again. So you absorb it, you reflect on it. I constantly do this with my sales progressor. We look at why it went wrong. Was there anything we could have done? Look, what can you do during a recession when interest rates are going up, mortgages are being pulled, and their surveyors are ultra pessimistic and doing down valuations? Deals will fall through. And as much as you try to save them, some deals are not savable. So we looked at the deals that we think maybe we could have done something different on. And like we said before, a mistake is only a mistake if you make it more than once. So it was like new year, new start. new implementations on the way that we look at deals and we take things on.
Right.
And you go again. And that was it, really. So I think the Christmas break was quite a welcome break to reflect and rebuild and just get my mindset back to where it needed to be.
You worked with Rihanna. How did that happen?
Oh God, it was kind of bad.
I mean, it's not Rihanna. She's not the only one you worked with, right?
No.
So can you tell me who you worked with?
Yeah, so we've done stuff for Prada
Okay.
as well. We've done some marketing for Tony Robbins' event and Dean Graziosi. Done some funnel stuff for Jay Shetty as well.
Right.
Oh, it's a big boy.
I think you've done something for the Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah, how can I forget that? Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. It's amazing. Rihanna.
I
Fast
forgot
and
myself.
Furious. Jay Shetty. Tony Robbins. I mean, all these people are just amazing. So how have you managed to...
Well, the Rihanna one kind of stumbled on. I think the production company found me on social media, had a chat, and I think ultimately they wanted to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But then by the time I had a chat with him and I gave him a no-brainer offer, they're like, oh shit, yeah, we need this guy. So obviously my car was part of their set. We helped them with their set and we helped them with some of their launch strategy because they were bringing Fenty Beauty to the UK. So we helped with that, and that was great. And when I talk about this, and I couldn't talk about it for a long time because of NDA, but now I can. People are like, okay, weren't you afraid? I'm like, afraid of what? I said, my flipping 550 horsepower car failed me on the track. I said, she's just all right. She's a celebrity, whatever, but I don't really get starstruck. But for me, it's like, look, if someone like that's asking for help for something, even if it's something small, I know how we can do it. And they had 2 objections. So I just made it a no deal breaker. I'm like, look, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to guarantee you, and I'm going to put it in writing. 24 hours. Not my team is going to be in touch, because I didn't really have a team then. I just said, I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to have the clause written and signed by me on behalf of my company and personally. I said, you ain't going to get a guarantee like that. And then, yeah, we done it. That was great.
How many cars did you own?
At that point, I had 3 Lambos sitting in there, and I said, look, what do you want? I said, do you want the Aventador? Then they said, oh, we don't know if it'll fit in the studio. I said, hold on. But then again, in her last video, she had a white Aventador on the table in it. I said, you don't want that. I said, my SV, I said, if you want my SV, we need to up the price because that's a £360,000 Lamborghini. I said, however, now I know your studio, I know the set, I know the product, I know what we're going to do with it. I said, the Gallardo is going to be the best thing. We had a look, said, okay, but it's currently white.
Turned it pink?
We turned it pink. And then because of the pinks we had access to, we looked at a product. I said, you know what? It's not really going to work in your studio. I said, how would you feel about changing your studio? They're like, what? We've got all of this. And then I got an Uber. I said, look, when you're in the studio too, they said, we've got 3 more hours. I said, look, I'm going to send you a piece right now. So I sent them the piece we wrapped just like a sample portion of 3 pinks. I said, this is the one that's going to go. They took it. And then they called me out and said, yeah, you're so right. We're going to go with this. Send us more.
Wow.
And that was done. It was like, wow, like, you know, got that on the portfolio. And it was just fun. I mean, and after that, I think one bad thing about me, I don't always accept my success, or I don't always celebrate everything, which I've changed drastically in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I move on to the next one. I'm like, I got my first Lambo, I got the second one, all right, next one, blah, blah. Boom. You know, I always managed to find a way to chat shit. I was like, oh, you know what? My first Gallardo, it was a Generation 1. It was 2008. It was an old one. I was like, what kind of talk is that, man? I spent 90,000 on a Lamborghini. Some people will never be able to do that. What's wrong with me? But I think it's the way I built a mechanism to keep me humble, because I was afraid of what people would say anyway. Because I never used to tell people I had a Lambo. I remember we went to some Frank Bruno charity event, and my mate's like, oh, have you told them what car you got? I'm like, no, what for? He's like, oh, you know, he's driving a Lambo. I was like, fuck's sake, why do you have to tell people that?
Yeah, you want people.
A dick.
Yeah, you want people to know you and love you for who you are.
Yeah.
Rather than, yes, because you love the cars, you're not gonna.
It's not me, innit? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a transformer, obviously I'll transform into an Aventador SV because it's fast. It don't take shit. Everything goes around corners.
No, to be honest, I've known you for many years now. We've been friends for a long time, and I think you're a very, very humble person. And if anyone says otherwise, I'll just think they're a dick.
Yeah.
So honestly, I love you for who you are, and you know, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing amazing. You're sharing your knowledge with the world, and it's you couldn't say you could have said, you know what, I can't care less.
Yeah.
I've got what I want. I don't have to, do what I'm doing. But you're waking up. You're making sure that the world is being a little bit better every single day. So thank you.
Trying to. That's all we can do.
Tell me about a time when you actually thought, oh my God, I'm fucked.
December the 15th, 2005, my dad had a major nervous breakdown in his pub. I was working in his pub. I was broke, 50 grand in debt, completely dependent like a juvenile child on my parents, but 26 odd years old. And I felt really powerless then. And that's the closest to, oh my God, I'm fucked. But that still motivates me to this day to continue to progress and try and do some useful things in the world, and also collect my rent money while I'm doing these meaningful things in the world. So you could say it was a gift as well as a curse. In the 17 years I've been an entrepreneur, there is not one moment where I've sat down and thought, oh my God, I'm fucked. There's plenty of moments when I've gone, fuck me, this is hard, but that's different. So for me to be, oh my God, I'm fucked, I'd have to know I'm going to die. Until then, I back myself to find a solution or adapt, evolve, because I know I've got that in me. Lockdown was, oh my God, our 99 apartment, 130,000 square foot development could be fucked. Or our training company with over 100 staff could be fucked. But I never once thought, I'm fucked. And we sat about doing 16-hour days to make sure that we kept the building sites open and the company open. And that was probably, in the 17 years in business, I would say the lockdown was the scariest time. But paradoxically, probably the greatest lesson. So here are some lessons from lockdown. The biggest challenge to your business is probably the government. The government and the mainstream media will say whatever they want to say to you, whether it's true or not. In a moment's notice, what you do could be illegal because the government decreed it. Everything you have could be taken away from you or challenged because of one law change. Obviously, you've got to believe you can be an entrepreneur. And obviously, you've got to tell yourself a good story and not make excuses. But other than that, the single biggest threat to every business is the government, because 20% VAT, 25% corp tax, 45% income tax, business rates, employers' national insurance, employees' national insurance, pension contributions, yada, yada, yada. Everything we buy obviously has VAT on it. Some of it's claimable, some of it isn't. And inflation going up in double digits, but we can't put our prices up double digits. Interest rates have been really low for a long time. I know they're going up now, but so there's no return on your money in the bank. You're losing money, leaving money in the bank. And these are all controlled by external circumstances. So the reason I said UK and not Dubai is because Dubai's too fucking hot. And I don't know enough about the legal system yet. But it wasn't the easiest answer in the world, because I think the UK are fucking this country up. And it's sad for me to watch that. Too many people on benefits, too many people not encouraged, incentivized, educated and financed to go and do work, where surely now after lockdown what we need is more work, not less work. You know, a lot of people on benefits, it is financially better for them to be on benefits than it is to go back to work. So why would they go back to work? And that's wrong. The system should not be like that. Now, look, if someone has got a debilitating injury, that's one thing. But someone just gaming the system, which there are plenty, that's wrong. Like, the extra few million people are on benefits that shouldn't be. Imagine them putting labour back into the economy. And where's all the incentives for you to start your business? Did you get any grants or guidance or mentorship from the government in starting your business? Did you, fuck?
No.
You got nothing except, pay business rates as soon as you start, and this tax and that tax and this tax and that tax and this tax and that tax. Yeah, the UK needs to sort itself out quick. Otherwise, all the entrepreneurs are going to leave.
But
A lot of them are already leaving.
they're already, and everyone is shifting to Dubai. That's the reason why I'm
Rishi, you are married to a woman who comes from an entrepreneurial family. Come on. You're well positioned.
Yeah, totally agree. A few things I'm just going to go back to. You spoke about what happened to your dad, and you thought you were done. And you said, I don't say, oh my God, I'm fucked, only if I'm thinking I'm going to die. So
While you're still alive, you can fight.
no. Why did you think at that moment with your dad that you were going to die?
No, I didn't think I was going to die. Did you say why did I or why didn't I?
So you said the only time you're going to say, oh my God, I'm fucked.
Is if I know I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I didn't, and that was unrelated to the statement about my dad and his nervous breakdown.
Cool.
I didn't think I was going to die. I just
Didn't know what to do.
didn't know what to do and I froze. So my point is, okay, I've had a couple of maybe slightly near-death experiences, but they were when I was in my late teens and they involved motorbikes.
Oh.
They involved motorbikes, Harry.
Which one?
Sell your fucking motorbikes, Harry.
Which motorbikes? What are you talking about?
I had a TZR 125.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, when I was 17, on a learner plate. Definitely shouldn't have had a license.
Well,
Look, maybe if I'd had a few more near-death experiences, I'd have some more commentary on this. But I can honestly say, even when I'm in the trenches and things are going very badly, I know there's still fight in there. And I think that is a human trait. That's not a Rob going, look at Rob. Remember, Rob, doesn't believe in himself as much as he could at times. But I tell you what helps, knowing that you're on the right path. Like, if I'm not on the right path, I'm probably going to more likely give up. And I'm going to have less resilience. But I know with more certainty than anything that what I'm doing with my life, I should be doing with my life. And that certainty is hard to deny. And that's what a lot of people don't have. That's why they haven't started their business yet. Or they're, not financially free yet, which of these worlds you're in. Because they don't have the certainty that they're on the right path. I am so certain I'm on the right path that you're going to have to kill me to get me off that path.
you still haven't told me.
By the way, please don't kill me because I like this path, but you're going to have to.
The first time I had a mentor, I'm like, oh my God, he's talking to me. Oh my God, he's giving me time. He's helping me through these hardships. And then once I got to know them and just be around them, yes, they have probably more responsibilities than I do.
Yeah.
They probably have, they know more than I do, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just, they're human beings. So I'm just being, hanging around them. That's what they say. Your network is your network.
Yeah.
It's who you know. You're the average of 5 people you hang around with,
Yeah,
isn't
I've
it?
heard that as well, and I believe it 100%. But yeah, they're just people.
Circle of influence, really.
Circle of influence. And so now it's about, okay, how do I get around more people?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why networking is good. That's how obviously we've followed each other on social media before, but face-to-face meeting at a network event recently. And again, that's what it's all about, being around good people.
So how often do you go to networking events? What do you do?
What, at the networking events? Well, yeah, I've been to a few in the last year. I really want to focus on that, especially after the pandemic. Really, like, you know, meeting good people, because social media, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You post on social media, and then I went to a network event and then bumped into you, and it's like, oh wow, like, so you start seeing people in face who you might have interacted with online, and that's crazy in itself. So I want to do more of that. At a networking event, the main thing is to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I always want to get value from them.
Right.
And then also just to meet new people ultimately, and hopefully bump into people that we've networked with on social media and make it a physical thing as well.
Yeah.
I never go to networking events with an expectation. That's what I've learned, because you always get let down, because it's always too high and then it falls. And I never go to networking to try and sell anything, because I'm only there to build relationships, because that's what goes further. So they're kind of what I take into an event, and just see how it pans out ultimately.
Yeah, because so many people who don't know what to do at a networking event. They just come like, okay, yeah, I'm going to a networking event, but now what am I looking for? What am I doing? I've had there was a property event I went to last week, and I have had someone I can call a friend now. She's my mentee, and she's been wonderful. She's acquired some properties, and she's doing great. And she's like, Hajar, but I don't know. How am I going to speak to them? What am I going to say? Who am I? Said, just be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself.
You're a good person. You're a funny person. You're good to be around. You have properties that you can speak about. You're running, you're managing these properties. Just talk about who you are and what you do.
That's really important. Just to add on to that. So going to a networking event, as you've said, when you've done the work, I'll break it down into both versions. When you haven't done the work, or you haven't got anything behind you, then of course you're going to think like that. So in those situations, you just go there to learn. And then people might speak to you, and then try and learn from them. So there might be speakers on the stage. Definitely go to learn from them. Anyone who comes up to you, see what they do, and build your network.
Yeah.
If you have got something behind you, if you've built your business a little bit and you've got your experience, the way I look at it is like, I like to think of myself, I can walk into any room now because I've been through the fire and I've built something. So regardless, I mean, again, it's not an egotistical thing. You've gone through the fire, so you have a certain set of values, skills, and experience that you can take into any room. So if someone does ask you a question, you've done this, this, and this, and hopefully you'll build a network relationship with them as well. But always go there to learn. That's my number one thing, especially when people are on the stage, as opposed to like a pure networking event where you're just speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love networking. It's just the introduction to new people is really what I want to do, because like I said, one of the biggest things that I did at the beginning was having no network. So this is super important for me.
So now people know you, they come to speak to you, and that's beautiful to see, because it shows that you're doing something right. So let's tap into mentoring.
Yeah.
You've been a mentor for a few years.
Just about 18 months mentoring.
Yeah.
So running the business for 4 years, last 18 months branched out into mentoring,
And I like how you actually learnt the system, done it yourself, made every mistake in the book, and then went on and helped others to do it. What type of fulfillment it gives you?
Yeah, it's massive. It really is massive, because here's the thing, right? So before the mentoring, was managing our own rent-to-rent SAs, then would manage other people, so landlords and other investors.
Yeah.
The goal there was to, and still is, because we're still doing it, is to make money for the client so they can achieve their goals. So, for example, again, mine was to come out of the rat race, 9 to 5. A lot of people who invest in rent-to-rent SA, it's the same. So they want to live life more on their terms, and rightly so. We don't want to be stuck in the rat race. So by managing the properties, creating the cash flow, it's to help them achieve their goals with the cash flow to do what they want. When it comes to the training and mentoring, it's literally about helping clients to build their business from the ground up. So the roadmap, and seeing where they transition from I mean, some people who join the mentorship, they've already got properties. They just need to know better systems and frameworks. But for people starting out afresh, just the trajectory and to where they are started and where they are at the end of it, or even through it, that's super fulfilling, because you see the knowledge building, you see the confidence growing, and ultimately when the results come as well, that's massive as well, because it's about helping people achieve the goals. And like I said before, I wouldn't have the power to be able to tell someone how to do it if I haven't done it.
Yeah. Do you see this happening quite a lot in
all the time?
I've personally seen it.
Yeah, all the time. And it's about having a personal brand. It's about documenting the process.
Yeah.
It's about showing up and showing what you've done, even the mistakes, documenting them as well.
Yeah.
And over time, people will see you, notice you, and watch you, and then eventually, if they align to you and like you, then they contact you, they'll message you. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have got one property, and I'm not going to rant too much about it, but they've got one property, think they're a guru, and it's like, okay, well, how long have you done it for, and what have you done? And they, like we spoke before, there's a couple of important things that you'd want to kind of consider and ask before you go into invest in mentorship. And
call yourself a mentor. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I totally agree with you, because I've seen that happening as well. Like someone who has 1-2 properties and then they call themselves a guru. I mean, it's the length of how long you've been doing things, and the credibility you have as well. And it might not be good for you because you don't know everything and you haven't seen the hardship. So if someone comes to you with a problem that you have not seen, how are you going to help them through that?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love mentoring. I'm a mentor myself, and we have over hundreds of properties, both of us.
Yeah.
So how was it when you started learning it? What was the challenges that you have gone through the property industry?
Yeah, we've been through so much crap, because we were self-taught. I didn't understand the power of mentoring at the very beginning of the journey, so I was just doing it off our own back, our own accord, and going through all the mistakes as you do, right?
Yeah.
So the worst thing was, for example, our first rent-to-rent SA, we had a drainage problem, and it was leaking all over the floor.
Oh my God.
And it was a bank holiday as well, so I was out. I was out on the town having some drinks, etc. Right, and then I get the call from the building management to say, the property's flooded, you need to get this sorted. And again, we had no maintenance people at the very beginning, because what do I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm stuck. Bank holiday, there's ringing around maintenance people, there isn't any. It's above a Sainsbury's, this property, right? It was going through the Sainsbury's.
Oh my God.
And the Sainsbury's were kicking off, and I was like, wow, what have I got myself into here? So the mistake was, not having people on hand, not having maintenance people screened, ready to go, your power team, good people around you, a good network again, and then ultimately better systems. So now where I'm at, I think to myself, why was I ever handling those calls from guests, from building management? So there is a process though. You've got to do it. We were saying earlier on, at the beginning of the business, you're doing every job.
Yeah.
But now I think, how was I ever doing all those things? So a big mistake was not outsourcing quicker as well.
Yeah, I'm a victim of that too.
It's money, right? Running a small business, when you outsource, you've got to pay someone. So you don't necessarily might not want to do that at the beginning. So you think, I'll do it all. I'll be all right. Crash.
Yeah.
I nearly had a bloody breakdown in COVID, just at the beginning of COVID. But then sometimes you need that to then go up again. I
want to thank you for tuning in and liking and being so engaging. I'm loving the love and the support you're showing me every single episode. If you have any questions, make sure you follow us on all our social media and leave all your comments and your burning questions in the comment section down below. If you're listening to us through the audio platforms, Spotify, iTunes, or if you're watching us on YouTube, do not forget to give us a subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the Diaries of Success. I was your host, Hajar Beyaz. Until the next episode, do not forget to live your best life.